Let me jump right into this because the Seahawks are picking at number 5. We haven't seen this in forever, and it seems like everybody they're talking about is an SEC guy, starting with someone from your home state of Georgia, and that's Jalen Carter. He was here yesterday for a visit. He's arguably the most talented guy in the draft. He fits their need more than anybody. Do you take him?
At 5, he's the best defensive player in the draft. He's a dominant force. He's got an unbelievable quick first step. He's got unbelievable power. I mean, crazy, crazy power. You know, you saw him come on campus as a freshman, and he had no clue how to use it. And then you saw him start to develop moves and where he put a lot in his arsenal, whether he could club you, whether he's got great instincts, he can quick swim. He's a great football player. So if they got him at 5, I don't think you're going to be upset at all. I mean, he's a really good player. I think you worry a little bit about he's a little immature. You know, he doesn't like talking. He doesn't necessarily. He's not going to be the guy that's going to have a lot of charisma and wow you. But I think he's a really, really good football player, and I think Pete Carroll could do a really good job with him because I think Pete would demand of him and make him give him his best, and I think he'd be a really great player.
You know what's great about this, Salk? I hear the same birds chirping in the background that I heard in Augusta. So I think that's what happens when you play golf down in Georgia. Those birds are pretty loud down there. Clearly. I think, though, I heard you say he's the best defensive player in this draft?
Yes, he's the best defensive player.
So why wouldn't you, with a team that has the biggest need in your front 7, why wouldn't you jump at the opportunity to take him at number 5?
I think there'll be some people that'll be worried about, you know, he just had the character issues, not character issues, he had the speeding issue, the maturity of Jalen. But I think it'll be a no-brainer for whoever takes him high. But I think there's been a lot swirling around. You heard Todd McShay talk about him a long time ago about, you know, possible character issues. I've never heard any of the character issue things with him. But I think he's an elite player, and he's somebody that everybody's going to want in this draft. I just think there's a couple things about him that I think people talk enough about, Brock, that you hear enough about that will cause people to pause.
Who is his comp? If of all the guys, and there have been a bunch of them through Georgia, you've seen all the monsters in the SEC. We've had guys, Davey, on our show say he's got the most traits of any D lineman in the last 10 years. You've heard people throw out the name Warren Sapp, who had similar conversations going into draft day, and it's why he fell out of the top 10. Who is the comp for a former All-American D lineman like yourself when it comes to Jalen Carter?
Chris Jones would be a good. Jeffrey Simmons from Mississippi State would be a good one. By the way, anybody I mentioned is going to be a great one. That's how good he is, because I think he's got that quick twitch and that stupid, silly power that you just don't see very often. You don't see people that can do what he can do. So I think if you're mentioning Chris Jones or you're mentioning Jeffrey Simmons, both from the same school, both SEC guys, I would be okay with both of those comps.
So he's there and Will Anderson is there. You're taking him over Will Anderson? You think he's a better player. Is it safe enough to take him over a player as good as Anderson?
I think I like Will Anderson a lot. I think he's got good character. I love his football character. I love how hard he competes. You know, I think it's going to be interesting with him. He's not a big guy. He's got really good game, and he can win with speed, and he can win with speed to power really, really well. But I think Jalen has more tools in his toolbox. I think Jalen's a better football player right now. Do you trust Will Anderson and who he is and who he's going to be? Yes. But I don't know if Will Anderson is a surefire, that guy is going to get me 10.5 sacks, 10 sacks a year. I know Jalen Carter is going to be a disruptive force in the middle no matter what. Like he's going to play the run good. He's going to play the pass good. He's going to be an absolute animal wherever you put him. I think Will Anderson, I think he's going to have flashes. I think he's going to be really good. I'm just not sold that he's going to be upper echelon, elite top 10 pass rusher. I think Jalen Carter has a chance to be a top-tier pass rusher at the defensive tackle spot on the interior and be a force in every single game.